Hi guys, this is Allison from ALLYKAT Creations. How are you? Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you have yet to do so. And if you get anything from my work at Connect the Dot and Epiphany in my moment, a new book to read, a new author to explore, artwork to look at, oracle card readings, all that fun stuff, you can check it out at the bottom of this video. And if you're interested in any artwork, you want to peek and gander, ALLYKATCreations211.com is where you can see I got a lot of pyramids I need to put up on that website, and I got frames for Valentine's Day and other fun stuff, so please check me out. I appreciate it. Hi. I had a very wicked, crazy, bizarre morning. Fun times. Ice storm, freezing lines. The electric company had to reboot my electric a few times today, so I didn't have internet and my phone service all of a sudden. Oops, we're not going to work. So I missed a few things this morning, and for anybody who does watch me, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to be rude. I'm never late, and I don't like to not participate in things. But unfortunately, when you have the world working against you for a moment, you take a pause and a step back and say, okay, it's not meant to be today. I'm not getting bothered by things that I can't control, right? The philosophy of war. Something that this chapter is going to bring to us. A worldwide call to prayer. Now, before I get into this, I'm going to make a generalized statement here. Whatever you see as prayer, whether it be affirmations, sitting at a bench and kneeling to a source, an entity, an energy, don't take this as a religious prayer. You can, whatever works for you in your paradigm. There's a lot of tension when I read some of these books. A lot of people are either like very Bible based or not Bible based at all, and they're just curious. We got to understand half the entire world isn't Christian. Half the entire world celebrates and does different things through their culture and their religion they were brought into. Remember, you don't choose, you do choose your religion, but when you're born and the veil is dropped and you have no idea, you are given your religion. You picked it. So let's not press upon other people your particular takes on things. I know a lot of people like to comment, which is great. Comment away. But just know when we're here trying to unify, I would rather have everybody join in unity together, no matter how different you are in the way you perceive this universe. That's the beauty of being a unique expression of source. We're all different. We all bring something unique and beautiful to the table. And if we keep attacking each other for the differences that we hold, if we keep smashing something in people's faces, and this happens to be a paradigm that I'm very used to, people always quote Bible sources to me, or like, you must read the Bible, you must have Jesus, follow Jesus. Jesus is within me. I'm a part of Jesus. I'm a part of his bloodline. So please excuse me for my perception and my interpretation. As we say prayer, do it in the modality that you think will work best for you in unifying this world. and bringing peace and harmony to the world, because that includes everybody, no matter what race, religion, creed, color, whatever it is. We need to stop dividing based on a religion or a color or a this or a that. Unity consciousness involves all. So come and be a part of it with me, and stop dividing yourself away from it, because I might not see the world through the book that you read. But I sure as well respect the authors who wrote this book and are given the esoteric versions of what is there. Let's unify together and pray, meditate, affirm, put the energy through. Whatever it is in your paradigm that you do, to talk to yourself and to the world at large. Follow that as I read this. A worldwide call to prayer. Quote, the effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man alieveth much. End quote, James. Quote, except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. End quote, St. Matthew. Quote, prayer is a channel leading to the obtainment of a fixed purpose. To pray for ourselves is, if rightly understood, merely recognizing the inflow of divine love and striving to make a place for and direct it. To ask for guidance is but to take hold of the power of divinity as a little child grasps its father's hand. End quote. Letters from the teacher, Curtis's. The call. The Universal Religious Foundation calls to its students and followers in all lands and to all lovers of truth, justice, and righteousness to join with it at noon each day in sending up a unified prayer for the success of the Allied cause. And now they're talking about World War I. If we want to do this call, we can do this at a designated time every day of your choosing and pray for the saving of this dominion's reality, that the right faction of the light will win the dominion of earth, whatever it is that you perceive. But take what they were going through in World War I and now apply it to the now. Divine instruments. It is not that we are asking the powers of divinity to aid us in killing our fellow man, but to help to overcome the resistance of certain leaders of men to the reign of justice and righteousness, no matter how harsh the means required, that we may be the instruments of the divine in bringing about the reign of peace, love, and harmony throughout the world. Mass prayer. The concentration of the minds and hearts of the thousands of advanced students in many lands who understand the power and reality of the currents of force generated by thought, aspiration, love, and the will for righteousness will cause such an outpouring of creative thought and love force that it shall rise like incense into the higher realms and rain down upon the hearts and minds of humanity with such quickening power as to fructify every mind capable of grasping and responding to the ideas with the prayer embodies and vivifying them into action. Remember that quote I read, and I will bring it up again if for those of you who are not watching my other videos. Sorry, I'm pausing a lot, but The Simpsons predicted it. No, The Simpsons had you create that reality by getting you to focus on it. When will you realize how powerful you are and see that what you focus on, you create? Start creating a reality you want to see and not one that the darkness wants you to create. I talked about this on multiple shows I've done, videos, whatever. They're saying it in the same way, same essence here. What are we wanting to create and manifest? And we have the power to unite together to do it. And my call to action to everybody is, you say you're going to do it, but are you really doing it? Are you really putting your feet forward in doing this each day? I bet you not, because you're too focused on who is disruptive, who is the bad guy, who is this person, who's that person. I'm not trying to make fun of anybody. I'm just giving the reality that I'm seeing. There are some people who are really ready for a change. But if you're still stuck in the paradigm that you are having the carrot dangled in front of your face and you're not living your everyday life and you're overly consumed and focused on the evils that people do, well, you're creating the reality for them. Let's build the bridge and let's cross it together to this prosperity and beauty that we can have. Prayer for the allied cause. O thou loving and helpful Master, Jesus, and I will say Yeshua, thou who's standing at the right hand of the Father, seest the sorrows and afflictions of thy children, help them to pass through the purifying fires of suffering and sacrifice with humility, unselfishness, and sanity. As we fight that right and justice may prevail, help us to realize and use the power of righteousness that is ever present with us. Help us to recognize through thee the cleansing power of the divine Christ force, that we may have a vital realization of our duty in helping to shorten these days and make thy love and justice prevail upon earth, even as it does in heaven. Help us to recognize that thy day of reckoning has come, the day when a national ambition that would enslave the world, when cruelty and deceitful craftiness in high places, when frightfulness on land and sea must be swallowed up in the fierce fires of justice, which recognize no position, rank, or personality. Pour out upon us the love that sacrifices itself for mankind and the power which sustains that sacrifice, that each heart may burn with ardor to achieve and thrill with the assurance of victory for the cause of democracy. Let's just say the republic, freedom and regeneration of the earth. So a lot of you know what I follow. Democracy is not a good thing at all. You could say capitalism. You could say the constitutional republic. I would rather say constitutional republic. So let's keep it there. But just know that the will of your intention is what's going in there. And a lot of people are unaware that democracy is no good. And we actually live in communism. Communism plus socialism equals communism. Democracy plus socialism equals communism. And there's fascism. And a certain person brings that up all the time in his speeches. You don't have to like them, but if you look back in history and understand what happened back then, you will understand like where I'm coming from. You don't have to agree with me. But let's bring it back to the Republic, where we sing it in our songs and our national anthem, yet we don't recognize it. Grant that the allied nations may be so united in heart and mind and so animated by the love of mankind that the life force of national solidarity shall fill the body of each nation full to overflowing with courage, sanctity, sanity, devotion, and self-sacrifice, that the victory we know must come shall be speedy, and shall be a victory of the Christ over all opposition to his reign. In the name of the living Christ, we ask that these days be shortened. Amen. Someone's thinking about me again. Christians' opportunity. May the illuminating power which such a prayer generates rouse the Christian nations to a realization of the great opportunity that confronts them, that they may rise in their strength and might as apostles of freedom, or go down in history disgraced forever. Ideals of Lincoln and Grant. May their young men be filled with the spirit of patriotism, justice, indomitable courage, which nothing can doubt, with the spirit which cannot see defeat, looking ever at the vision of victory, even amidst want and suffering, that they may be filled with the simple trust in the power of a just cause ever held by Abraham Lincoln, and be animated by the same tenacity of purpose that brought victory to U.S. Grant. Shorten the days. In the description of those days through which the planet is now passing, it is written that except those days shall be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake those days shall be shortened. Who are the elect for whose sake these days of tribulation and retribution shall be shortened? They are the souls who will recognize the terrible karmic conditions through which humanity and the globe is passing, nevertheless bravely give all they have, their loved ones, their treasure, their help in every way, with the realization that there is a power given them to shorten these days. Heart sympathy. What does this mean? For it has a mighty mystic power. It is the power of your prayers, of your interest, of your full comprehension of that which is transpiring, and of your heart sympathy with those who are marching forth to lay down their lives for you and yours. Spirit of the race. This great conflict is drawing together thousands of young men who have no comprehension of the seriousness of life, of the frightfulness of war, and the awfulness of the things they will have to face. But in even these unawakened ones is the spirit of the race, which in spite of all will make them give a good account of themselves. Galley marching. Thousands are marching out, young and gay and trifling, with no thought of life as a serious problem, who will come back appalled with the terrors they have passed through, with all their gaiety and joyfulness, plucked from their breasts by the iron hand of war. Interesting, but we look back at those, movies, they tell a lot. The saddened ones. These are the ones who especially need our prayers and our understanding sympathy. For this is a class quite apart from those who give their lives and from those who return wounded and crippled. And it is these saddened and stricken ones who will help make the foundations on which the new civilization must be built, be it one of law, peace, and harmony, or one of lawlessness or ruthless tyranny. We know the answer to that, don't we? The lawless. Others will come back filled with revenge, callous to suffering, crying out for retaliation without pity. These too will be among those who will rehabilitate our country. We do not want a land filled with pitilessness, cruelty, and revenge, but we do not want a land filled with the insanity of war. Neither do we want to go through another Inquisition, nor another reign of the Puritans with their cold, joyless, unsympathetic bigotry. Yet it is possible for all these things to come again. Pity, not revenge. Men's hearts have existed without pity in past ages, and those days may come again. Therefore, hold over the world the vision of the reign of peace, righteousness, and sanity. Pray that our sons shall not awaken from their ignorance to become hard-hearted and revengeful. Pray that all nations shall learn out of their suffering that revenge is not the way to readjust the conditions left after the war. Here we are. Slackers. Could you see your homes devastated, the soil of your homeland soaked with blood, and, geez Louise, my nose, your children starving as thousands in Europe are forced to see today and stand idly by with the pacifists and slackers? Even if the world were to end, if that meant the end of war, it would be welcome to many, but it cannot be yet. Awaken the elect. There are 2 full races, each with their 7 sub-races, nations and tribes, yet to have their day of manifestation before the great day of rest. Therefore, it is the duty of all, the awakened, to elect themselves to be the shorteners of these terrible days. Hi! Hi, guys! What? What? Elsa needs to take a picture of that. What? Awaken the elect. Hi, everybody. There are 2 full races, each with their 7 sub-races, nations and tribes, yet to have their day of manifestation before the great day of rest. Therefore, it is the duty of all the awakened to elect themselves high to be the shorteners of this terrible day. Now, how do we do that? I've been talking about it on this channel in the Spiritual Soul Advices and Ponderings. Guys, it's up to us to manifest. We are focused on manifesting for them. We don't know that we are. We're good people. We're focused on these agendas and all this nonsense. We're creating their reality for them while we're not creating the reality we want for ourselves. So let's focus. We're at the precipice, spiritually speaking, physically speaking. We're here. We keep pushing off. Oh, we have to wait for something outside of us to happen. Because the grand solar flash is going to happen. That doesn't mean you can't sit here and manifest. And I'm getting passionate about this because, once again, I see too many people waiting and sitting with their popcorn ready when you're not doing the work to get to this. Let's manifest. Make the changes you need to change within your heart space, within yourself, and align with what you want for the world. And what do we all want together? Probably peace, justice, and to manifest all of this so that we can shorten the days of this shit and move forward. But how can we move forward if we still feed that side? They're saying it here, it's just in different words. They're saying it here. Understand the significance. This can be done not only by letting our soldiers march forth and join hands and hearts with the allies who are making such great sacrifices, not only the men on the battlefield, but also the women at home who, with the courage of willing sacrifice and thankful sorrow, give the bravest and the best of their sons to achieve a noble end. But also by the understanding of the significance of the events of these days and those to follow in unceasing prayer that the days be shortened. Reminder, this is World War I. So let's put that in perspective. Sorry, somebody is really on my nose today. I don't know why. It's really annoying. Pray for kindness. Pray not only that young lives may be saved, but their sanity, kindness of heart, and love may be preserved, for they will be the ones who will return and make the laws of the lands in the future. Power of darkness. Remember that we fight not merely against men and conditions, but against the principalities and powers of darkness, which seek to push this planet out of its path that it may fail and cease to be. And if they fail in one effort, it is easy for them to make another unless vanquished by the hosts of the Lord, whom we invoke through prayer. Do your bit. You are not doing your bit if you merely go about your business as usual and forget to pray. Let your prayers go up unceasingly, that wisdom, love, and righteousness may prevail, that the world may be cleansed and prepared to start the new day purged from evil. I'm going to read this. It might or may not apply. Separate prayers for Germany. The fact that we do not include Germany and her allies in the prayer, who, because she is the sheep, which has gone astray and hence needs our separate prayers more than the 99 who have remained within the fold, may seem to some that we are not fulfilling the law of the Christ, which says, love your enemies, do good to them, which hate you. Bless them that curse you, and pray for them which despitefully use you. Now we can extract the word Germany in there, in that country, and we can put in the darkness. We could do that. Prayer against compulsion. We admit the law and endeavor to follow it, but we are convinced that while the German people need our love and our prayers, insert other cultural differences here. You don't need to use Germany. Yet since her leaders have permitted her to become the avenue through which all the evils we are praying to overcome have been permitted to manifest on earth, we must pray for the success of all those forces which are fighting to overcome these evils and sweep from the earth those influences which have deliberately brought this terrible war upon mankind, and which seek to prolong it, that they may impose their will upon the nations of the world to their enslavement, and it has become so. We have a lot of wars going on right now. We have a spiritual war happening that's above our pay grade, but many of us have fought already in it on the other dimensions and higher densities in our light being, our light energy emanating up there. We have the Ukrainian war, which is not a world war just yet. We have a Palestinian problem because Albert Pike, the letter to Giuseppe Mazzini, outlined all three world wars, and it was political Zionism against the Muslims. They wrote this out, friends. It's there for your seeking pleasure, if you know where to research. And to be honest with you, the world wars were not necessarily what you think. We have been 1984. The perception of what people have gotten when they've written this book is not accurate. We really need to understand who is really the enemy, and the enemy needs love, compassion, and grace, and the understanding that source is in them. That's another reason why you should give them love. Stop condoning, condone their actions. Stop feeding its energy. So take this Germany's awakening and apply it to our here and now. We send out this prayer because we believe that America and the Allies are fighting for the right and justice. Yet we pray just as sincerely that Germany may awaken to a realization of her shortcomings and crimes, and the people of Germany to their duty to uphold truth, justice, and righteousness. Again, take away Germany and insert other country in there. We know who they are. Just insert other country to their duty to uphold truth, justice, and righteousness, freedom, and self-government against the whims and passions of an irresponsible autocracy. Yet, the place of a petition for said country, Germany is in this book, but let's say said country, is not in the present prayer, for this is a special prayer for the success of those forces which are engaged in sweeping from the world militarism and autocracy, a necessary condition for the new age upon which we are entering. Who has the Samson option? There you go. Insert that country there, or that land mass there. A master of masters. In using the name of Jesus, I call him Yeshua. We are not merely praying to a man who lived nearly 2,000 years ago, but we are consciously recognize him as the great master of masters, who is at the head of the divine healing hierarchy, ever ready to answer such a call and pouring out, geez, what's going on with me today? His forces upon us, not to relieve us from our responsibility for the sins and suffering we have created, but to instill into each heart something of his own power, both of seeing the beauty of righteousness and justice and the strength to establish the same upon earth. For those of you who do not follow Jesus, I don't claim the word Jesus because J wasn't associated in any of the languages back when. Y was. Took 600 years, or there was a huge time frame before the letter J was inputted into history. Whether you want to believe that or not, but I don't believe in that. That was not his name. I'd rather call him Christ, but Yeshua is what he tells me he likes to be called. Me personally. The name of Jesus, why I say that. The name of Jesus has great power and a potency, for it stands for the man who has conquered, who is our example, who is God. But here's the problem. We all are God. He didn't want to be put on a pedestal or a podium. He didn't want to be put on a cross that everybody wears and idolizes. We need to stop. For we also can conquer if we open our hearts to the inflow of the Christ force, which is Christ consciousness, which is the Christic encoding within all of us that are having that paradigm experience that we signed up for. The power of the Christ. Such a call sent up from the united hearts of our many, many students in all lands and our sympathizing friends who know how to pray, who know that we are not asking to have someone else do something for us, but the power of the Christ shall fill us, that we may accomplish for ourselves, will bless every man in all the ranks and enable them to do all that Jesus, Yeshua, has promised could be accomplished through the same Spirit of the Christ that made him one with the Father. Now, let's take this and make an application for ourselves. Instead of sitting around, watching, listening, and engaging in what the wrongs of this world is, you already know them. And if you haven't figured out so much yet, you know something's off. If you go to the grocery market and you think it's okay to be paying $300 for really barely anything in your cart, then there's something wrong with you, right? There's something wrong with this world. And if you haven't figured out and put your really go figure that out for yourself. Look around, see how many people are really happy, see how many people are walking around miserable. It's time to put our feet down, to do things. I'm not saying to pick up a firearm. I'm not saying to go to war. I'm saying all you need to do each and every day, make it a habitual thing at your break time at work, a little prayer to give compassion, love, and grace, and to stop and end this and shorten our days. We are a part of the Christ paradigm. We are made of the Father up in heaven. The Father in heaven is working through us, each and every one of us. So when we stop looking outside of ourselves and understand it's all within us, you give yourself that power and empowerment to put forth in will into attention, action into motion, to have a cause and effect. Here's the Hermetic principles. When you swing to the polarity of the top of your paradigm, which I would hope is light, and you want to manifest a better, beautiful existence for all, and that is what, maybe under a minute you could say that in your head, and put your will, feel it in your heart space, put it out there, mean it what you say, because you create what you focus on. And if you're focused on all the bullshit that they're doing, you're not creating our future. You are creating theirs, which is enslavement and mass populist genocide. So it's up to you what you are going to focus on. In an ungrateful way. We all want to just say, we want this and we want that. Well, let's just keep it simple. We want abundance and prosperity for all. However the universe provides that and it shows up, it will happen and be so. When you put names and things on there, oh, I know a lot of people talk about manifesting and being very specific. Well, you know what? I was very specific about my moving and where I wanted to go and all the beautiful things I needed. And guess what? It didn't happen. Because I didn't write that in my script. As much as we want to say what you put will and intention to will manifest, don't have expectations. Because if you didn't write it in for yourself, it ain't gonna happen. And if it does, you wrote it for yourself. Congratulations. I'm going off on a tangent, but I think it's very necessary to say that because we have expectations on things and we want certain things to drop. We want certain technologies to come. And how do you know if that is for your betterment? Because it sounds good. It's like Pandora's box. It looks beautiful. I can't with this nose today. It's this big, shiny, beautiful box, but when you open it, you don't know what you're going to get. Allow the universe to work its magic. Allow the universe, allow your higher self to know what is in your betterment. But if you're going to sit and wait for things outside of yourself to start coming into your paradigm, it ain't coming. You got to work on that. You got to put it into will, into intention. And if that's through a prayer, beautiful. Do that, please. We all need this. But when you're sitting back, sorry, guys. I hate this thing. This Zoom bullshit. Better. When you're sitting back and saying that other people are going to do it for you, it's not going to be the way you want it. So I'm getting passionate because it's not driving home in people. You want it to end. Everybody wants this to end. Well, are you doing the energy work to put it there? This is all chemistry. This is all physics. If you can't sit and put will to intention to create your reality, I specifically wanted a new house, but you know what house I got? A very old one. I wanted a backyard. I got the backyard of my dreams. Did I end up in the neighborhood I wanted? No. I was very specific on what I wanted, but you know what? I'm grateful and thankful and blessed. I have what I have. I am blessed that things happened in a succession of ways that wasn't that long. I didn't have to stay in a hotel half of a year, and I created my life. Is it perfect? No. But that's the story I wrote for myself. When you know thyself and you can see the bigger picture and you can look at the mission that you're on, things will start to make sense. But for everybody else, stop sitting in your laurels and let's work together and unify and let's create the reality that we want. Then our days will be shortened. The movie will go quick. And then we can do what we are divinely here to be called for in service. Our realization. Only such a call can pierce the earth-born clouds created by man's misconception and misunderstanding, which hide the earthly from the divine and open his consciousness to the realization that the divine is also in him. To the degree that we lay our lives and our loves, our goods and our grains upon the altar of sacrifice that the world may be cleansed from evil, so shall it be. Effective prayer. If your eyes could be open to see the effect the repetition of this prayer produces in the higher realms and the forces it brings to your aid, your faith would be strengthened and your heart assured. Especially is it effective when sent up from the hearts of many persons at the same time or successively at a few at a time, as will be the case if every student repeats it at 12 o'clock noon on each day. Always noon somewhere. As it is noon at some part of the globe all the time, and as our pupils extend around the world, there will be a ceaseless repetition of this prayer throughout the 24 hours of the day. We therefore expect great power to result from the continuous day of prayer. Cooperation needed. We ask all our students and all the friends who will cooperate with us to pin this announcement up where it will be called to their attention and daily and to meditate upon it and repeat it daily until the war is over and harmonious conditions established. If it is not committed to memory, it should be copied and carried in the pocket so that no matter where they are or what they may be doing outwardly, they will have it in hand to repeat and repeat. Meditation. If possible, its repetition should be followed by a period of silence and a meditation during which the spiritual power invoked should be seen pouring down upon America and the Allies and their forces, flooding all with the light of spiritual understanding and the courage of religious conviction. Prayer daily. Repeat the prayer aloud daily, and then sit in silence and realize its potency for the triumph of justice and righteousness. Keep on doing this daily until the war is over and peace is restored to all nations. Shorten these days. If you lift up your hearts in prayer unceasingly, you have it in your power to stop this war. If you raise your hands in supplication day after day, night after night, never forgetting the terror the world is passing through and the power of the Christ to conquer all conditions, will truly invoked, these days shall be shortened. But you must elect yourselves to be the shorteners of these days. I agree. Do not hinder. Do not give aid or sympathy to those who would hinder America for doing her part, lest America have to stand in the day of judgment with head bowed in shame, because she was too slow in striking a blow for freedom and civilization. They know not what were the real causes of the war. But our day of judgment is coming for those of us who had no idea of the real history that was hidden from us. We need to realize that we are a part of, we chose to be in America for a reason. We have karmic judgment day coming. And many of us will reap that karma, but many of us can counteract that karma as well. We're here to awaken others. We're here to help and guide others. Do you really think we're going to be taken out? And if we are, we're going to meet everybody's light on the other side. It's a beautiful process. Sanity needed. Pray not only for peace, but for sanity. It is sanity that is needed, for the world is going mad, one class ignoring the suffering of another class. One class mad with sudden wealth, gaiety, and frivolity. Another class mad with poverty, sacrifice, suffering, and horror. Keep poised. Keep your minds balanced and poised, and help to keep others from going to extremes. Pray for the sanity and normal balance of the world. Talk it, preach it, pray for it. Hold fast. Hold fast to normal balance first in our own country and then in the countries which are fighting your battles. Then for all who are victims of the madness that is obsessing the world. And this is a little side note. This call to a daily noontide prayer for the Allies was sent throughout the world by the Order of Christian Mystics on August 7th, 1917. The special day to inaugurate its universal repetition was set for September 9th, 1917, at which time a special service was held at the headquarters of the Order, then in Philadelphia. Since that time, the idea has rapidly gained ground, and churches of all denominations in many cities have inaugurated similar services, thus showing that the inspiration of the idea is finding response in every heart and mind attuned to it. All who read this are urged not only to repeat the prayer daily, but to present the subject to the religious leaders of their community and endeavor to have some kind of noon prayer service for the Allies inaugurated and continued until the war is over and conditions of peace are firmly established. August 7th, 1917. Wow. They put will to power. What can we do to put will to power? What can we do? We don't need anybody to tell us when to pray, but if we all succinctly at 12, it could be any time. It doesn't need to be 12. It could be any time. If you put the will and intention and you feel it in your heart space to do this, do it every day at the same time. Just like the channeling, when you go to the same place and build up the energy field around you, things start to come in clearer. We're not perfect. The world is not perfect. We want to create a perfect world. We have to work hard to get there. And that doesn't mean just physicality. That means putting our minds to the grindstone and get a beautiful ritual, a ceremony, a day and time to speak the will of prayer into intention for humanity. We all need this. So I think this is a very important chapter. I know I went off on a lot of tangents and had to pause a lot. My nose is very stupid itchy. I don't know why. Next time I'll read the prayer for the world harmony. We need this. It's a part of the Hermetic laws. We need rhythm and harmoniousness. It's a frequency. And when we can achieve that frequency in unity, we'll start to see more. But when everybody thinks a flash of light is going to change everything in a snap, this is something we need to do the work on. A lot of people are just waiting for that flash of light to start doing the work. It's here now. Why are you waiting? Why are you waiting? I'm not waiting. I sit under my pyramid. I sit up on my beanbag with Morgan Cat. I meditate and I project love, energy, and frequency all over the planet. I touch the trees when I'm outside in the back, and I give that tree my love and compassion and ask it to spread it throughout the entirety of the world. What are you doing? You got to, Spirit is continuously saying, you got to do the work. You can't just idly sit by and watch everybody else do it for you. You're part of this world. Let's be unified together to do something positive. And what is a prayer? I'm not asking you to build a bridge physically. I'm not asking you to bend steel. A minute a day on a prayer is as much as asking you to look in the mirror and say, I love you to yourself. So I hope all of you took that in. Just insert other country here. And if you don't know who that is, eventually you get cued in, literally. So guys, sending you love, light, compassion, grace, shielding, protection, energy. Thank you to all the new subscribers. I hope all of you have a fantastic rest of your week. My power has been wonky. My internet has been very wonky the last couple of days, and it's been going on and off. I do apologize to anybody that I missed today. Today was really not a good, like I thought I needed my ice skates back. I had to give my ice skates away. I needed ice skates to go outside. Like it was bad. So please just know that I'm doing my best to keep up with this channel and get things out when I can. And I hope you all have an amazing day. Please be safe, be seen. Bye.